श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। वागीशाद्यास्सु मनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यन्नत्वा कृतकृत्यास्यस्तन्नमामि गजाननं। शारदा शारदाम्भोजवदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं क्रियात्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीयस्य सामाया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये। प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकं नित्यं तन्नृसिंहगुरुं भजे। श्रीसच्चिदानन्दशिवाभिनव्यनृसिंहभारत्यभिधान्यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानिधीन् मन्त्रनिधीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानवशम्भुरूपान्। सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीं। विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्यौदार्यक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वं तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे। शास्त्राब्धिपारदृश्वानं सङ्गहीनं तपोनिधिं भजे श्रीभारतीतीर्थगुरुं भद्रौघदायकं। विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीं। सत्यज्ञानसुखस्वरूपममलं क्षीराब्धिमध्यस्थितं योगारूढमतिप्रसन्नवदनं भूषासहस्रोज्ज्वलं त्र्यक्षञ्चक्रपिनाकसाभयवरान् बिभ्राणमर्कच्छविं छत्रीभूतफणीन्द्रमिन्दुधवलं लक्ष्मीनृसिंहं भजे। With namaskarams to the Padapadmas of the Ubhaya Jagadgurus. Today we will be talking about the Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotra, which, as per the directions of the Jagadguru, we have all done Parayana of in Kartika Masa, along with the Shiva Panchakshara Nakshatramala Stotra. So, you have already heard about the Shiva Panchakshara Nakshatramala Stotra in detail. So, the second Stotra that has been designated by Acharya for chanting, or that was designated by Acharya for Parayana during Kartika Masa, was Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotra. This is undoubtedly one of the most popular works of Bhagavad Pada. It is popular across all parts of India. It is not even limited to the southern part, and for good reason. So this stotra, as is the case with many of Bhagavad Pada's other stotras, is somewhat of a trend setter. So there are some stotras that once, or even some forms of poetry, that once the original work comes in, so many other works pop up following the path of the original. For example, Kalidasa's Kumarasambhava, not Kumarasambhava, Meghaduta. Kalidasa's Meghaduta is the first of the Sandesha Kavyas. So, poetic works wherein the protagonist is sending a message to someone that is far away from them. So, from this Meghaduta or Megha Sandesha, you have Kokila Sandesha, you have Hamsa Sandesha, you have Bhringa Sandesha. So many other texts have then popped up that are following in the model of the Meghaduta, wherein one person is sending a message to their beloved via means of some messenger in the middle. In the same way, you see so many stotras of Bhagavad Pada, wherein the style that Bhagavad Pada has chosen has then been followed by poets in later years. So a very simple example of this is the use of the Bhujanga Prayata Chandas. So before Bhagavad Pada, we don't see the Bhujanga Prayata meter used as widely as it is in Stotra Sahitya, the way it is today. So once Bhagavad Pada has written Ganesha Bhujanga, Shiva Bhujanga, Bhavani Bhujanga, Vishnu Bhujanga, Rama Bhujanga, only once Subramanya Bhujanga, only once Bhagavad Pada has written so many stotras in the Bhujanga Prayata Chandas do we see an increase in the following bhaktas and poets who have then adopted the Bhujanga Prayata Chandas to then write so many more stotras in that particular meter. In the same way, there are so many Karavalamba stotras that we see. Shri Vallisha Mamadehi Karavalam He Swaminatha Karunakara Dina Bandho Shri Parvatesha Mukha Pankaja Padma Bandho Shri Shadideva Ganapujita Pada Padma Vallisanatha Mamadehi Karavalambam. There is one Karavalamba stotra on Subramanya. In the same way, there is a Shankaracharya Karavalamba stotra written by our Pithas Acharya Shri Shankararya Mamadehi Karavalambam. Then actually there is also one more Venkateshwara Karavalamba stotra that our 30 second Acharya, Sri Narasimha Bharati Mahaswami, has written, that has also gained great popularity. Shri Sheshashaila Suniketana Divyamurte Narayanaachyata Hare Narinayatakša Lila Kataksha Parirakshata Sarvaloka Shri Venkatesha Mamadehi Karavalambam. So this phrase of these Vasanta Tilaka, so this is set in the Chandas Vasanta Tilaka. So this format of writing shlokas in Vasanta Tilaka addressed to a deity with the phrase Mamadehi Karavalambam in the end is one that has come from Bhagavad Pada. And the archetype for these stotras, the original, is the Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba. So obviously the refrain for all of these shlokas is Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. So Bhagavad Pada has not written a Karavalamba stotra for any other deity. The only devata for which Bhagavad Pada has written a Karavalamba stotra for is Lakshmi Narasimha. And of course we have spoken about this before, wherein that Bhagavad Pada had a very special relationship with Narasimha Swami, which is why even in the Ashtotra of Bhagavad Pada you get Narasimha Bhaktaya Namaha. And also in the Digvijaya, the devata that comes up very often, almost as often as Shiva does, is Lakshmi Narasimha. He comes when Bhagavad Pada needs his body to be rescued from the flames after he does Parakaya Pravesha. He comes yet again when the Ugra Bhairava tries to kill Bhagavad Pada. Padmapada, being a Narasimha Pasaka, attains Narasimha Avesha, and then Narasimha comes and saves Bhagavad Pada. And it is not said outright, but also later on, when Bhagavad Pada gets the Bhagandara Roga because of Abhinava Gupta's black magic, then again it is Padmapada that uses the Narasimha mantra to dispel the effects of that abhichara, of that black magic, and to release Bhagavad Pada from the clutches of that illness. So we see, and in fact there is an entire sarga only devoted to Narasimha Swami in the Shankara Digvijaya. So we see that Bhagavad Pada obviously had a very close relationship with Narasimha Swami. And on top of that, this concept of a Karavalamba is something that is very important. So Karavalamba, the word Karavalamba means the support of a hand. So Lakshmi Narasimha, hey Lakshmi Narasimha, Tava Mama Karavalambam Dehi, give me the support of your hand. So give me, I am stuck in something, I am in some calamity. Please give me the support of your hand. And we actually see this phrase in many other regional languages too. For example, in Telugu you say Cheyuta. Cheyuta, Naku Cheyuta Nichadu means he gave me the support of his hand, but what it actually means is he assisted me, or he gave me support. In the same way, I mean in English also, right? Give me a hand, please give me a hand. So that is also used in English as well. So what is a Karavalamba? So what is the situation that Bhagavad Pada had to ask for this in? So as per the Madhivya Shankara Digvijaya, Bhagavad Pada did Parakaya Pravesha into the body of a king named Amaruka. And the ministers realized that, it is not our king's Atma that is in this body, but some Mahatma is inhabiting this king's body, and therefore this kingdom is prospering. So it follows that if someone entered this body, there is some other lifeless body that belongs to the Mahatma that has entered the king's body. So if we get rid of that body, we will be trapping the Mahatma in this body, and therefore we will be ensuring that he rules this kingdom forever. So with this idea in mind, the ministers order the kingdom soldiers to burn any bodies they find that are lifeless. So in this situation, the soldiers set fire to Bhagavad Pada's body, and at that point Bhagavad Pada has just re-entered his body, and for the cessation of the flames, Bhagavad Pada prays to Lakshmi Narasimha. So there it says Sapadi Dahana Shantaye Mahantam Naramraga Rupam Adhokshajam Sharanyam Stutibhiradhika Lala Satpadabhi. So that is how the shloka goes there. So for Sapadi, for immediate protection, for the Dahana Shantaye, for the fire to go down immediately, Bhagavad Pada chose Narasimha to praise. However, it would not make sense that an Atmajnani like Bhagavad Pada would praise Narasimha only for some Tatkalika Rakshana, for some immediate purpose. So which is why there the word that Vidyaranya Mahaswami uses, Atmavit Pradhanaha, the greatest of Brahmajnanis, praised Narasimha. Why was that put? It is because although the stotra was composed for the sake of, or at least in that time, for the sake of the flames going down, and maybe it was composed in a state of calamity, the intent of the stotra, however, means the deeper meaning, the gudhartha, the deeper meaning of the stotra is one that befits the stature of the composer, who in this case is a Brahmajnani. So Atmavit Pradhana. If a Brahmajnani composes a stotra, there will be a certain level to it. He will not write a stotra only for Laukika Prayojanas. He will not write anything only for material gain. So although the stotra in that situation was composed for the removal of the fire, Vidyaranya Swami is reminding us that the actual meaning of this stotra, the purport of this stotra is far greater than simply just removing the flames from Bhagavad Pada's body. So we need to understand what Karavalamba is. Why do we need to ask Ishvara for Karavalamba? What is that we need Ishvara's support in? The answer to this question is, quite frankly, everything. There is nothing that will happen in this world without Ishvara's anugraha. Which is why even in Nyaya, for every effect, for every karya, there has to be a karana. There is no effect without a cause. If you see a pot, there has to be mud and a potter present before the pot was created. If there is no mud, there will be no pot. If there is no potter, there will also be no pot. So these though are Vishesha Karanas. Right? So the potter is only a cause for the pot. He is not the cause for a cloth. A potter will only make a pot, he will not make a cloth. On the other hand, if you have a weaver will be the cause for a cloth, but the weaver will not be the cause for the pot. So these are called Vishesha Karanas. However, there are some things that are Samanya Karanas for everything. For example, Kala, right? Until the right time comes, nothing happens. So Kala is one cause. Also that everything happens in time, right? So the fact that you need some temporal constraint for an effect to take place is one such thing. Dik, right? Space is one such thing, because for any effect to take place, you need some space for that to take place in. So in the same way, Ishvara is also a samanya karana for all karyas. Ishvara is Bhagavan. In the same way, Adrishta. So our papa and punya, those are also the causes for everything that we do. And in fact, Ishvara is tied into these papa and punya, because although we have accumulated papa and punya, we are not the ones that decide how those papas and punyas take place. It is Ishvara that decides how those papas and punyas take place. So it follows that for anything in this world to take place, for anything to happen at all, we need Ishvara Anugraha. And whether it is Ishvara's Anugraha or not, it is Ishvara's will. It is his Sankalpa by which this world moves. And this is what the Upanishad is also telling us. Bhishasmadvatah pavate bhishode tisoryah bhishasmadagnischendrascha mrityurdhavati panchama iti is what Upanishad is telling us. So every single natural process that takes place in this world happens because of Ishvara. So what does it say? Bhishasmadvatah pavate. Why does the wind blow? The wind blows because it is the dharma of the wind to blow, right? Because it is the nature of the wind to blow, the wind blows. So why does wind obey its nature rather than doing whatever it wants? It is because Ishvara is the Niyamaka. Ishvara is existing and is controlling, is the Prabhu of that wind. So what does this mean? What is Bhaya? Bhaya exists, fear exists when there is someone greater than you that has power over you. That is when you will have fear. If it is someone equal to you, you will not have fear. If it is someone lesser than you, that is less powerful than you, you will not fear them. However, it is only when there is something that is more capable than you and also has some power over you that you gain, that you feel fear. So when we say that the wind follows its dharma because it is afraid of Ishvara, we mean that Ishvara is greater than the wind, and it is Ishvara that has given the wind its job. Right? So an employee will only fear the boss of his company. He will not fear the boss of some other company. In the same way, the wind fears Ishvara because it is Ishvara that has created the wind. It is Ishvara that has tasked the wind with a particular duty. And it is Ishvara that has given the wind its nature. So this is what the Upanishad means when it says that Vayu blows out of fear of Ishvara. Same thing, the sun rises out of fear of Ishvara. The Indra reigns out of fear of Ishvara. Agni burns out of fear of Ishvara. Mrityu, so death stalks the earth, taking lives as appropriate because of out of fear of Ishvara. So what does it mean? It means that Ishvara is the cause of all of these entities, and it also means that Ishvara is the one that has charged these entities with a particular task. So when we say that nothing in this world happens without Ishvara, it is twofold. It is A, because Ishvara's will determines the sequence of events that take place in this universe, and second, because Ishvara is the cause of all beings in this universe, and third, because Ishvara is the one that has tasked all devatas. So basically all the forces of nature. Ishvara is the one that has tasked all of them with certain duties. So it then follows that we need Ishvara's support regardless of what it is that we do. So this Karavalamba is not only for when we are in trouble. This Karavalamba is not only when calamity befalls us, but this Karavalamba, Ishvara's support, is needed whenever we do anything. That being said, for bhaktas, this Karavalamba is needed in various ways depending on the type of bhakta. So as we know, in Gita, Bhagavan has separated bhaktas into 4 different categories. So, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinaha Arjuna. O Arjuna, there are 4 bhaktas that worship me. They are all sukritinaha. They are all sukritins, which means that they are only through great punya does one even get the thought of worshipping Bhagavan. Right? Bhaktir durlabha. Bhakti is not something that you just get like that. It is the course of the fruition of sadhana from many lifetimes. Right? The bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. It is only after several lifetimes of sadhana that people will even get the thought that, correct, there is an Ishvara that is the Antaryami of this world, that is all-knowing, omniscient, Sarvajna, Sarvashakta, whom I must seek refuge in. This buddhi is not something that we can take for granted, but it is earned through long sadhana. It is earned through long and arduous sadhana. So these bhaktas, after such sadhana, have attained bhakti and now can be classified into 4 categories. Arto, Jignasu, Ratharthi, Jnani cha, Bharatarshabha. So one is the Arthas, the Artha Bhaktas. Artha Bhaktas are people that have Arti suffering. So for example, Gajendra was suffering at the hands of the crocodile. So he called upon Vishnu to protect him. In the same way, Draupadi in the Sabha, when she was being disrobed by Duryodhana, she was in a calamity, right? She was in an apat, and she called upon Krishna to save her. So this is one sort of bhakta. There is one more type of bhakta called artharthi. So they need some material gain. So for example, Kuchela, to be fair, Kuchela did not actually open his mouth and ask Krishna, but his intent when he set out to go to Krishna was that he needed some money. So some people like that are artharthis. So they seek wealth. There are some people that are jignasus. So these are sadhakas who, though they are not realized yet, they are not brahmajnanis yet, they seek jnana, they seek to know Ishvara. They seek to know his nature and realize the aikya between Jiva and Brahman. So these are jignasus. They also worship Ishvara. And the last ones are, these are people like Uddhava. The usual example that you give as per Bhagavata is Uddhava. And then the last and the greatest of all bhaktas are jnanis, realized souls. We may wonder, what are they praying for? See, all the other 3, they need something from Bhagavan. The jnani needs nothing, right? He has gotten moksha, which means that the greatest goal of human life is fulfilled. There is nothing greater to attain than that. So what could the jnani probably want? So Krishna then answers that by saying, Bhagavan then answers it by saying, Tesham jnani nityayuktaha eka bhaktir vishishyate. Priyohi jnaninotyartham aham sacha mama priyaha. The jnani, by virtue of attaining aikya with Ishvara, becomes the greatest bhakta of all. Because there is nothing more dear to someone than themselves. Even for us, as ajnanis also, there is nothing more dear in this world to us. So we may want money, but we don't want that money at the expense of our identity. In the same way, we want jnana, but we don't want that at the expense of ourselves. In the same way, we want protection from some apat, but we don't want that at the expense of ourselves. Right. So in the same way, now that the jnani has now has attained aikya with Bhagavan, the jnani now has love for Bhagavan not for some prayojana, but through an intrinsic love. And on top of that, Bhagavata also says it is just the nature of Bhagavan that he inspires love in people that need nothing. So Atma Ramascha Munayaha, it says Kurvanti Ahitukim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi. So Atma Ramascha Munayaha. They are munis, they don't seek external things, they don't seek happiness from external things. That being said, they have ahetuka bhakti towards Bhagavan, means bhakti without cause. There is no reason for them to have bhakti, they just have bhakti. Why? Itham bhuta guno harihi. That is the nature of Bhagavan. What is that nature? It is not because Bhagavan is some paraloka somewhere. It is because Bhagavan is the Atma that is no different from our true nature. So this is what we mean when we say Jiva Brahmaikya. The Chaitanya of Ishvara is no different than the Chaitanya of the Jiva. See, we don't say that Jiva and Ishvara are the same because they are clearly different. The Jiva is limited, his capability is limited, his knowledge is limited. Ishvara is unlimited, his potential, his capability, his Shakti is unlimited, his knowledge is unlimited. So obviously these two cannot be the same. But what we mean is the Chaitanya that is the essence of Ishvara is the same Chaitanya that is the essence of the Jiva. So that Chaitanya, when expressed through the vessel of Ishvara, the vessel of Ishvara being incredibly powerful, expresses itself powerfully. And when expressed through the body-mind complex of the Jiva, because the body-mind complex is limited, it expresses itself limitedly. But the consciousness is only one. Chaitanya is only one. So it is because that consciousness that is the nature of Ishvara is the same consciousness that is the nature of the Jiva. The Jiva, whatever the Jiva feels for himself during the state of Ajnana is what the Brahmajnani feels for the Atma Swarupa in the state of Jnana. And this Atma Swarupa is also then understood to be no different from Bhagavan himself. Which is why the Jnani has the utmost bhakti towards Ishvara that no other Ajnani can hope to have. And the Advaita Bhakta will have the highest amount of bhakti for Bhagavan, because the Dvaita Bhakta is still seeing difference between himself and Bhagavan. So regardless of what it is, even if you do Sharanagati and even if you surrender yourself, at the end of the day, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. There is nothing that you will do that is not intended for your own well-being. Even if you sacrifice something, that sacrifice is intended for your own happiness in the long run. For example, you do sacrifice because it is the right thing to do. Why? Because doing the right thing to do makes your conscience happy. You do that, even though it may cause you self-harm. Or you do some tapas or some upavasa, even though it causes you pain. Why do you do it? Because it will cause you pleasure in the long run. In the same way, even if you say, let's say you do Sharanagati to Bhagavan. Why are you doing Sharanagati to Bhagavan? Because doing Sharanagati to Bhagavan will get you a Sadgati in the long run. However, and don't get me wrong, Sharanagati is a must. You must obviously surrender to Bhagavan and say, I am yours, right? I will do my karma as your seva, and this the giving me the phala is completely up to you. So that is the Sharanagati. However, this is still done with the Bheda Buddhi. So as we said, the bhakti that you have towards Bhagavan is still for yourself. But once you have attained Advaita Jnana, you have realized that Bhagavan's true nature is not different from your own true nature. And therefore, you love Bhagavan as you love yourself. Because Bhagavan's true nature and your true nature are one. So then you have now hit the peak of the bhakti that you can have towards Bhagavan. You cannot care for Bhagavan any more than an Advaita Bhakta could, for this reason. So that is why the Jnani is the greatest of these four bhaktas. So you have the Artharthi, the Artha, Jignasu, Artharthi and Jnani. So all four of these bhaktas need the Karavalamba of Ishvara. All four of these bhaktas need the support of Ishvara. Obviously, the person, the Artha, in some trouble, needs Bhagavan's support to get out of that. The Artharthi needs Bhagavan's support to get whatever material object it is that he needs. The Jignasu needs Bhagavan's anugraha to learn, because even Jnana needs to come from Bhagavan. Because getting a guru, see, you need to get jnana from a guru. That guru could be Bhagavan. For some people, we say that Bhagavan himself has done Upadesha. But otherwise, even Guru Labha is out of Bhagavan's Anugraha only. So even if you want a guru that will give you Upadesha, Jnana Upadesha, that will only happen with Ishvara's Anugraha. Which is why, and also just the thought of doing sadhana, and the drive and the conviction to do sadhana is also only obtainable through Ishvara's anugraha, which is why we also see the Smriti Vakya that Ishvara anugraha deva pumsam advaita vasana. It is only through the anugraha of Ishvara that people even get the inclination to pursue this jnana marga. So, in all cases, and of course, we have just talked about why the jnani also holds on to Ishvara. So, for all of these reasons, Karavalamba is needed for everything. The support of Bhagavan, the support of Ishvara is needed for all tasks that take place in this world, and it is needed even more so for bhaktas that hope to attain progress in their spiritual life. So, that being said, Bhagavatpada has composed this Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotra in such a way that it fits all of this, but at the end of the day, it is meant for jnana. So, what Bhagavatpada actually wants Narasimha Swami's support in is in coming out of samsara. So, obviously, samsara is the cycle of birth and death. That is, and our highest goal, the goal of this human life, is to get rid of this samsara and come out of it. That is called moksha. So Bhagavatpada wants Bhagavan's support in the process of coming out of this samsara. And to drive this home in every single shloka until almost 5, 10, 15, and almost 12 to 13 shlokas out of the 17. This stotra has 17 shlokas, only 17 shlokas. There are some more stotra, Shriman Narasimha Vivaya Garudadhvajaya. There are some more shlokas, those are all prakshipta. This stotra ends with Lakshmi Narasimha Charanabja Madhavratena Stotram Kritam Shvakaram Bhavi Shankarena. That is the last shloka of this Narasimha Karavalamba. In total, it is 17 shlokas. So, out of these 17 shlokas, in at least 10 of them, they all start with the word samsara. So, samsara is just compared to various calamities. So, Bhagavatpada says, samsara sarpa vishadigdha mahagrativra. Bhagavan, samsara is a snake and it has bitten me. I need your support. Or samsara bhekara karindra karabhighata nishpidya, like that it comes. So samsara is like a wild elephant that is thrashing me with its trunk. I need your support. Or samsara kupamati ghora magadhamulam. Samsara is like a well that I have fallen into. I need your support coming out of it. Samsara samsara davadahanatura bhekaror jvalavali. Samsara is like a wildfire that is burning me alive. I need your support in coming out of this. Samsara ghora gahane charato murare. Samsara is like a dense forest that I have become lost in. I need your support in exiting this forest. So in this samsara sagara vishala karala kala nakragraha. Samsara is like an ocean that I am drowning in. I need your support in coming out of this ocean. So in this manner, Bhagavatpada in each and every shloka has done nothing other than ask Bhagavan for his support in coming out of samsara. And then there are some more in the end. There are 6 more shlokas that are miscellaneous. So in one of them it is Nama Sankirtana, Lakshmi Pate, Kamalanabha, Suresha, Vishnu. In one of these it is just Nama Sankirtana, calling out to Bhagavan. One more shloka is Bhagavan Swarupa. What does he look like? Ekena Chakram, Aparena Karena Shankam. So he has Shankha Chakras in the top 2 hands. One hand he has Abhaya Mudra, one hand he has put around Lakshmi and Varada. So that is the form of Bhagavan. Ekena Chakram, Aparena Karena Shankam, Anyena Sindhutanayam, Avalambya Tishtan, Vametrena Varadabhaya Padmachinnam, Lakshmi Narasimha Madehi Karavalambam. In one more, it is talking about how the Indriyas have tricked the Jiva. And in one more, it is talking about all the great bhaktas that have sought refuge in Bhagavan and attained Shreyas. Prahlada Narada Parashara Pundarika Vyasadi Bhagavata Pungava Hirnivasa. But the majority of this stotra is dedicated to the request that Bhagavan lend us his support in removing samsara, in removing us from samsara. So now since we have kind of understood the background of the stotra and the tattva that Bhagavatpada has intended to convey through the Makuta of Lakshmi Narasimha Madehi Karavalamba, we can now look at some 3 or 4 shlokas. Obviously we cannot go through all 17. But for example, the first one, Shrimat Payo Nidhiniketana Chakrapane Bhogendra Bhogamanirajita Punyamurte Yogisha Shashvata Sharanya Bhavabdhipota Lakshmendra Simha Mamadehi Karavalambam. This is the first shloka. So it is just a normal namaskara to Bhagavan, highlighting some of his many illustrious qualities. Shrimat Payo Nidhi Niketana. Niketana means Nivasa, residence. Payonidhi is the Kshira Samudra, the Kshira Sagara. So one who lives in the Kshira Sagara. Chakrapane, one who has the Sudarshan Chakra in his hand. Bhogindra Bhoga Mani Rajata Punyamurte. So one whose Punyamurti, whose auspicious figure is Rajita, illuminated by Bhogindra Bhogamani. It is said that the best snakes have gems studded in their hoods. So Adishesha, being a 1,000-hooded snake, is spread over Bhagavan as a canopy, as an umbrella, as a chhatra. So the 1,000 gems on his 1,000 hoods are illuminating Bhagavan's form. Yogisha, you can split this two ways here. You can say he is the Lord for yogis. So all yogis, all sadhakas, they worship him. So he is Yoginam Ishaha. Or you can even say Yoginam Isha means Yoginam Madhye Ishaha. So he is the greatest of all yogis. So Bhagavan himself is a yogi. Right? So there are some Devata forms wherein Bhagavan is not just the Anugrahaka of yogi. He is not just someone that graces yogis, but he himself is in a mode of practicing yoganusthana to give us all the perfect example of yoga. So for example, Dakshinamurti is a common example. In the same way, in forms of Vishnu, you have Yoga Narasimha. So Yoga Narasimha is obviously very common. There are so many devalayas dedicated to Yoga Narasimha across Bharatavarsha. As well as there are many Mantramurtis also. So in Agama also, Yoga Narasimha is a very common form. So he is not just the person that graces yogis or the person that gives yogis the fruit of their penance, but he himself is engaged in undergoing yoga. And this is a kind of, you also see this in the Vishnu Sahasranama, where in the very beginning you have Yogaha, Yogavidam Neta. So this is the same thing as Yogisha. So Yogi means Yogavit, Yogavidam Neta. Neta means leader, Isha. So there Bhagavad Pada is explained as Yoga means, Yoga literally means to union. Yuj dhatu means to unite. So Yoga means unity. So, or to join. So the unity of the Jiva and Brahman that we have talked about is yoga. So he is the Isha of those that know that yoga. So those who are involved in the sadhana of realizing the Jiva Brahmaikya, Bhagavan is the person that graces them. This is also a deeper meaning of the word Yogisha. Shashwata. So as we all know, the Jagat is ephemeral. Right? The world passes. Things in the world come and go. The world itself comes and goes. But Bhagavan, being the master of the world, being the person responsible for its Srishti, Sthiti and Laya, is Shashwata. He is eternal. And that is why he is Sharanya. We should seek, he is fit to be sought refuge in. So we may seek refuge in many things. People that are sick may seek refuge in medicine. People that are scared may seek refuge in the king. Children may seek refuge in their parents. But these are all temporary solutions, right? The king will protect you from one problem. Another problem he may not be able to protect you from. Some medicines may protect you from some illnesses, but the same medicine will not protect you from all illnesses. And some illnesses, there may not be even a medicine. There may not even be a medicine that is capable of protecting you. Which is why actually Prahlada says to Narasimha in Bhagavata, Valasya neha pitaro sharanan Narasimha, Nartasya chagadam udanvati majjato nauhu. He says, hey Narasimha, Balasya pitaro nasharanam. The parents cannot be a complete refuge to the child. Nartasya cha agadam. Agada is an oshadhi, a medicine. A medicine cannot be the refuge to someone that has a roga. Udanvati majjataha nauhu. Nauhu is a boat. So a boat cannot be a refuge to someone that is drowning in the ocean. Why? It will be a refuge to him in one situation. What will you do? So you are stuck in the desert. What will a boat do? So in the same way, Tvadupekshitanam, Prahlada says. So for those people who are not looked after by you, what use are all the other forms of protection? So therefore, because Bhagavan is Shashwata, he is eternal, and because he has all the illustrious qualities that one could look for in a protector, Bhagavan is the prime Rakshaka for any proper sadhaka. So Yogesha Shashwata Sharanya. And therefore he is Bhavabdhi Pota. Pota is a boat. So he is the boat that helps us cross the samsara. So O Lakshmi and Narasimha, may you, who are adorned with all these qualities, may you give me your support. So this is one shloka. I mean, we cannot talk about all the samsara shlokas, but as I told you, the sentiment, the spirit is that samsara is horrible. It is tormenting me in so many ways, and I need your protection. I need your help. I need your support in getting out of it. So one nice shloka that embodies this is Bhagavan, Bhagavatpada compares samsara to a tree. Samsara vriksham agha bijam ananta karma shakhayutam karana patram ananga pushpam aruhya dukkha phalinam patatodayalo Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalambam. So I have climbed this tree of samsara. What does this tree consist of? So every tree has branches, it has leaves, it has a trunk, it has roots, it has leaves, those leaves become flowers, those flowers become fruit. So and then that fruit falls again and becomes another tree. So what is the nature of this tree of samsara? Bhagavatpada is describing the nature of this tree. Aghabijam. So where has this sprouted from? Papa karma. It is sprouted from that. Ananta karma shakhayadam. So once it sprouts, it then splits into various branches. So although this has come from Papa karma, it has now split because I have committed more karmas. So just as the tree born from the seed splits and spreads out in branches, in the same way, this bija, this tree has sprouted from the seed of karma, Papa karma, and is now spreading out through all the other karmas I commit while I am in this body. Samsaruksham Agabijam Anantakarma Shakhayitam Karanapatram. And what are the leaves? The Indriyas are the leaves of this tree. Karanapatram Ananga Pushpam. And Kama, desire, is the flower of this tree. And the Dukkha Phalinam, the fruit of this tree is Dukkha. So why is this said? Because as we know, the leaves become the flowers and the flowers become the fruit. That is the way that the tree progresses, right? So I have got Indriyas. Because I have Indriyas, I have attained desire towards certain things. And because I have desire towards certain things, if I get them, I then develop attachment to them, and through that attachment, I get sorrow afterwards. Or if I don't attain it, I attain sorrow because of not attaining it. So all in all, through my desire, I am attaining sorrow, which is why here Bhagavatpada is comparing the Indriyas to the leaves, Kama, desire to the flower, and sorrow to the phala. And I have climbed up this tree. Why do you climb a tree? You climb up a tree to see what is at the top. So I have climbed up. I have realized that there is nothing here worth pursuing, and I'm falling back down. What does it mean when you're falling back down? Where do you fall? You will fall to the base of the tree again, which the base of the tree is Papa karma again. And then you fall down from the Papa karma, and then the entire tree starts again. So this samsara is cyclical. That is the point that Bhagavatpada is making. So this samsara, just because there is one bija means that will not end. It will come, there will be another fruit, that fruit will fall, there will be another seed in that, and it's sprout again. So just as a tree will never die, right? It'll bear fruit, that fruit will fall, it will become another tree. There is no case of this tree dying out. So just as that is the case, the samsara also will not die out if I leave it as is. So what do you need to do? You need to cut the base of that tree. So if you cut the base of the tree, samsara will go. So that is what Bhagavan says in Gita. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. So you need to cut down this tree of samsara with the axe known as asanga, which is not being touched by anything in this world, not having too much of an affinity towards anything. This is one shloka. Then there is one more shloka that is that we see that talks about how the jiva, or it shows us the need for the jiva to do sadhana consistently throughout the life. So we may say, okay, yes, samsara is bad. I'll just think of Bhagavan in my last moments, or I'll just think of him when the need comes, or I'll think of him when I retire, or I'll start sadhana once I have some time. Let it be. So Bhagavatpada is warning us away from that. So Bhagavatpada is presenting to us a situation. Badhva gale yamabhataha bahutarjayantaha karshanti yatra bhavapasha shateryutam mam ekakinam paravasham chakitam dayalo Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalambam. This is the situation is when you are on your deathbed and you are drawing your last breath. What is the situation? Yamabhataha gale badha. Yamabhatas, they will not let you go. Yama to this day has not let anyone go because they are scared of death. Whether they are scared of death or ready to accept it, Yama has dragged them away. So there is no exemption here. Right? You cannot even bribe the Yamadutas. So Badhva Gale, the Yamadutas will tie that noose around your neck, that Kalapasha will be tied around your neck. Yamabhata bahut tarjayantaha, and they'll be reprimanding you. Look what you have done through your life. Look at all the bad things you have done. Look at all the papas you have done. Look at all the time you have wasted. So they will not only tie you and drag you, but they will be scolding you. They will be cursing you. They will be reprimanding you the whole time. And then karshanti yatra bhavapashashateiryatamma. They will, whenever it is that they drag me. So Bhagavad Pada is saying, oh Narasimha, when the Yamabhattas drag me, then what is my state then? Ekakinam. I am absolutely alone. Paravasham. I am not in my own control. I am at the beck and call of others. I am at the mercy of other people. And Chakitam. I am dead terrified. I am petrified. So this will be my state at that stage in life. So yatra, in whatever stage of life this happens in, tatra mama tava karavalambam dehi. So when this happens, please give me a support. What does it mean that Bhagavan gives us a support? It does not mean prevent us from death. Remember that. Bhagavan is because Narasimha is mrityu does not mean that Bhagavan, please protect me, the Yamabhattas have come, Bhagavan will not shoo them away. Death will come. But what Bhagavan will do is, either he will ensure that death will take us to a better life, or he will ensure that death is painless, or he will give us the proper jnana in such a way that you will never die again. That is what it means when you say we ask for Bhagavan's support in our last moments. So, and then why is it Narasimha that has to protect you? Because you are ekaki. Ekakinam. There is no one that will come with you. You can have as a loving wife as you can think of. You can have as many obedient children as you want. Your parents can be as loving as possible. But at the end of the day, when you die, you are going alone. So there is no one else that whose support I can ask besides you. And Paravasha, if you are under your own control, you can at least hope to do something. But when in that stage of life, your body is not yours anymore, your indriyas are not yours anymore, the Yamabhattas will just take you and drag you to heaven or hell. So, to Sarga or Naraka. So at that point, you are not even in control to do something. So, Ekakinam, Paravasham, Chikitam. And at least if you are someone brave that knows, yes, I have done punya my entire life, I'll be going to Sarga. Or, yes, my sadhana has gone and in the next life, I will be born in an appropriate way to continue the sadhana. If you are someone that is this brave, then that is there, the problem is at least somewhat mitigated. But what is the case here? Chakitam. Everyone is scared of death. It is hardwired into a system. Which is why Patanjali Maharshi says Swarasavahi, Vidushamapi Swarasavahi. This is Abhinivesha, Patanjali Maharshi calls it. This fear of death is natural to every being, including those who are educated. It does not, there in the Bhashya also it is written that from a Kita to a Devata, to a Pandita, from an insect to a scholar, all life forms alike fear death. So death is something that is naturally scary. So at that juncture in life, at that point that is the most terrible point or the most fearsome point for any being, I really need your support then, Narasimha. There is no one else I can turn to. That is what Bhagavad Pada is saying. One more shloka. Bhagavad Pada is talking about how we must always be on the guard from our indriyas. See, earlier Bhagavad Pada has said that the indriyas will cause kama and indriyas will cause kama. The kama will then lead to dukkha. But how do the indriyas do that? What they are mine, right? The indriyas belong to me. And I control my indriyas. I will tell my eye what to see. I tell my mouth what to taste. I tell my skin what to touch. So why should I fear the indriyas when they are mine? Bhagavad Pada says, Andhasya me hrita viveka mahadhanasya choreihi mahabalibhi indriyanamadheyehi mohandhakaruku hare vinipatitasya Lakshmi Narasimha mamadehi Karavalambam. So here the indriyas are thieves. They are dacoits. So when a traveler is going on a path in the forest, what do the dacoits do? They will first catch him, they will blindfold him, they will throw him in a ditch, they will take his money and go away. That is the process. That is in all the Puranas and Panchatantra Kathas and Vikram Betal and all of that, this is how the thieves work. So what are the indriyas doing? They are andhasyame. So I am anyhow blinded. I am not seeing the path. I am not cognizant of the path that I am going on. That way I am andha, I am blind. Hrita viveka mahadhanasya. The indriyas have robbed me of my wealth called viveka. So otherwise the jiva will have viveka. This is dharma, this is adharma. So I should do dharma, I should not do adharma. Or it can also be sadasad viveka. Yes, I know that atma is the sat padartha, the thing that is worth getting, and I know that the jagat is asat. But what do these indriyas do? They rob you of that discrimination and they make everything mixed. So even though you may know dharma from adharma, you will still follow adharma. Even though you may know that atma jnana is the greatest thing that you should attain, you may still not be interested there, and you'll pursue some other laukika, some other worldly pursuit. So that is the thing that the indriyas do. They bind your mind in such a way that you will not be able to discriminate between what is proper and improper, what is permanent and impermanent. So, and then what do they do? Chorair Mahabalibhir Indriya Namadheyehi. So these strong dacoits, highway robbers named the Indriyas, they have robbed me of this money. And what they have done, as I said, the robbers will push this man into a ditch, right? So where have they pushed me? Mohandhakara kuhare. They have pushed me into a ditch called moha, called a state of confusion, a state of improper perception. So in that situation, there is no one else that can protect me, that can give me their support besides you, O Bhagavan. So what does this mean? Dhiyo yo anaf prachodayat. So because my indriyas have the capability to rob me of my viveka at any given point of time, it is up to you, O Bhagavan, to guide my mind in a dharmic fashion. It is up to you to ensure that my sadhana goes forward and I progress spiritually, and while doing that I also follow the proper path in this world. It is, please guide me. I will do my part in this, but it is also, I am also begging you that you continue to lend me your support as I go about my laukika vyavahara, as I go about my worldly transaction. And to finish off, Bhagavad Pada tells us who to look to. So we want, Narasimha's, we want his support in everything that we do. So who should we be like? Who has gotten the support of Bhagavan before? Bhagavad Pada gives us a list of the greatest bhaktas of Bhagavan. Prahlada, Narada, Parashara, Pundarika, Vyasadi Bhagavata Pungava Hirnivasa, Bhaktanurakta Paripalana Parijata, Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. Who is Bhagavan? He is Bhaktanurakta Paripalana Parijata. So bhaktas and anuraktas, we get this also, bhaktanam anuraktanam trata bhavajanardana. It comes in the Uttarapetika of Vishnu Sahasranama. So bhaktas are those people who are devoted, anuraktas are those people who are attached. So some people are devoted to Bhagavan, some people are attached. Whatever it be, they are doing something with Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is like a parijata to them. And not parijata means it gives whatever they want. But Bhagavan is not just a parijata, he is also a paripalana parijata. He gives them whatever they want and he also protects them. So that is called yoga kshema. So yoga is giving that which the bhakta needs. Kshema is ensuring that what the bhakta has is protected. So what is, I have gotten 50 rupees today and someone has stolen it immediately. What use is that? So that is not the case with Bhagavan. Bhagavan looks after the yoga and kshema. That is what? Paripalana parijata. So parijata means just as the parijata vriksha, it gives whatever the person in front of it asks for. In the same way, Bhagavan also gives the wishes of his, or he gives what is needed for his bhaktas. Yadyad apekshitam tat sarvam diyate bhagavata. And then also, he does not just give and leave it there, but he also ensures that the bhakta is protected. That whatever he has given the bhakta, be it good health or security or wealth or a happy family or whatever it is, that it is protected. So that is the paripalana aspect of it. And what kinds of bhaktas will Bhagavan do this to? That is why Bhagavan says in Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejanaf paryupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So those people who think of me incessantly, without a gap, without stopping, and they are ananyaha, they know nothing else other than me. They seek refuge nowhere else other than me. So for those people who are nityabhiyukta, they follow yoga incessantly. For those people, for them, this yoga kshema, I will take the responsibility of. So what does it mean? So for which people will Bhagavan look after the yoga kshema of? Those people who always have Bhagavan in their heart. So that is why all the bhaktas that Bhagavad Pada said, Bhagavata Pungava Hrinnivasa. Narasimha, you reside in the hearts of all of these Bhagavatas, of all of these bhaktas. And who are these people? Prahlada, Narada, Parashara, Pundarika, Vyasa. If you remember, there is one more shloka that sounds like this. Those people that tell this in Pratasmarana, people will know. Prahlada, Narada, Parashara, Pundarika, Vyasambaresha, Shukashaunaka, Bhishma, Dalbhyan, Rukmangadarjuna, Vasishtha, Vibhishanadin, Punyaniman, Paramabhagavatan Smarami. This is one shloka that we tell as we do namaskara to all the bhaktas. It is very similar to that. As in Bhagavad Pada has taken the same people, Prahlada, Vyasa, Narada Maharshi, Vyasa Maharshi, the same people Bhagavad Pada has taken and reminds us that, look, just as Prahlada did not stop thinking of Bhagavan even when in apada, even when in calamities, you too should not stop thinking of Bhagavan. Just as, so as all of these bhaktas behaved, if you behave that way, you will certainly attain the support of Narasimha Swami. And what is important, that Bhagavan is always in your heart. Bhagavata Pungava Hrin Nivasa. See, Bhagavan will not come and sit in your heart. You need to bring Bhagavan and make him sit in your heart. See, Bhagavan is there anyway. Bhagavan as the Antaryami is there. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshena Tishtati. Ishvara sits in the heart of all beings anyway as the Antaryami. So it is not the fact that Bhagavan has to come. It is the fact that we need to keep Bhagavan in our thoughts at all times. See, Bhagavan is anyhow seated within us as the Antaryami, as the Chaitanya. Right? The Asya Shikhaya Madhye Paramatma Vyavasthitaha Sabrahma Sashva Saharasendra Soksharaf Paramaswarat. We are telling in Narayana Sukta also. But that is not what that is not enough. We need more. We need Bhagavan to be in our thoughts as well. So when Bhagavan is bound in our thoughts, then at that point, Narasimha Swami will give us his complete Karavalamba, the support of his hand. And the support of Narasimha Swami is such that you will not have to think twice again about anything. What did Prahlada have to do? Did Prahlada have to do anything for himself? Hiranyakashipu could do whatever he wanted. Prahlada had only one job, to see Bhagavan everywhere, to think of Bhagavan incessantly. So this constant state of meditation on Bhagavan is all Prahlada had to do. Narasimha Swami took care of everything else. So that is the case. And that is why also in the Narayana Hridaya, in the Bhagavata, there is one Narayana Kavacha. So in that Narayana Kavacha, one shloka is there about Narasimha. Vidukshu dikshurdhvam adhas samantad antar bahir Bhagavan Narasimha prahapayan lokabhayam svanena svaterasa grasta samasta tejaha. So this kind of Narasimha needs to protect us. We are telling you that. So Narasimha is what? He is Sarvavyapi. He is the avatara that is meant to prove that Bhagavan is Sarvavyapi. So where is he? He is not just in Vaikuntha, he is not just in Ayodhya, he is not just in Mathura, he is not just in Dwaraka. But Vidikshu Dikshu Urdham Adhas Samanta Antar Bahihi. Everywhere you can think of Vidikshu, northeast, southwest, Dikshu. Vidikshu, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Adha, Vidikshu Dikshu Urdham Adhas Samantat. Urdhvam Adha, up, down, Samantad, all around, Antar Bahihi, inside and outside, wherever you think. There Narasimha Swami is situated there, ready to protect you. How? Prahapayan lokabhayam svanena. His roar, his svana, his roar is enough to do what? Lokabhayam. Any fear that can possibly come to you in this world, his roar is enough to remove that. Why? What is so great about him? Svatejasa. His splendor is such that grasta samasta teja. The sun, the moon, Agni, 10,000 suns, they will not hold a candle to his Shakti, to his light, to his Deepti, to his splendor. So that Narasimha is the Bhagavan whom we should seek refuge in. And it is that refuge that Bhagavatpada has sought to give to every single person that reads this Karavalamba Stotra by allowing them the Karavalamba, the support of Narasimha's hand. So that hand that ripped apart Hiranyakashipu, that hand that kept Prahlada on his lap and put a hand on his head, that hand will be extended to us as support as well, if we do our part of being dharmikas and incessantly keeping Bhagavan in our heart. So it is our job then, now that Acharya has also told us to do the Parayana of this in Kartika Masa, that Parayana should continue. At least you don't have to do it every day, but this Karavalamba, the request that Bhagavan, see, this is to Narasimha, but every Bhakta, so you can ask the Karavalamba of Shiva, you can ask the Karavalamba of Devi, you can ask the Karavalamba of Vishnu, you can ask the Karavalamba of Skanda, you can ask the Karavalamba of Rama, you can ask the Karavalamba of Krishna, whoever it is. But that Sharanagati, that Bhakti towards Bhagavan always needs to be there in our heart, and we need to also live our life in a dharmic way. If we do that, without a doubt, as Bhagavatpada has said, Bhagavan will certainly extend us his hand to remove us out of this samsara. So, with namaskaras to that Lakshmi Narasimha, and with namaskaras to Bhagavatpada who has given us this illustrious stotra, and with namaskaras to the Ubhay Jagat Gurus who have directed us, who have ordered us to learn this stotra and to thereby attain the grace of Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, I will take your leave now. Ityesha Vangmayi Puja Srimad Shankarabhadayor Arpita Tena Devesha Priyatamme Sadashivah Tava Tattvannaja